stove is ooh, boys and girls, good Lord. Hmm. Ooh. Oh. Ah. Mm. Ah. I kid you not, my whole arm is a splatter of grease everywhere, all over my beautiful shirt, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is, I am provided for. That's right. Now I took my rice and I just dropped it in the pan as you saw. So there goes that. I did find the pepper. I did put some pepper in it. But boys and girls, let me tell y'all something. I am loving up on myself today. Y'all see this? Wow. Although I really want to go to Mercy Room. mm, 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 mm. Oh. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. Woo. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. I really have to be easy with that rice because I really can't eat a lot of rice. But boys and girls, I kid you not, I think it's like maybe 6 o'clock right now. I am so thankful for this meal. Mm, 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 mm. I kid you not, I cannot tell you how much I cried today with my friend on the phone. She said to me, she said, I understand why you are frugal. She said, I understand. And she said, it's not even about much of anything but just taking care of your needs. But, but let me tell y'all, I had the lady on the phone, on Verizon or whatever the name is. I had that lady laughing. She said, go ahead and teach me. I said, I just cut off my house phone. You know. You know what? I, Boys and girls, let me tell you something. Let me tell you why I was just about to laugh. I was sitting here and I heard something at the door and I jumped. But guess what? I'm gonna jump for a while. I'm in a new place. You understand? So someone might have been walking by like the keychain or something, whacked across the door. Nothing. But I kid you not, a few minutes ago, before I was cooking doing the other video, I heard somebody walking in the hallway and I opened the door. I said, excuse me, can you help me turn the heat on? I said, because at nighttime it gets really cold in here and I don't know how to work this thing. She said, all you have to do is turn off the air conditioner. I said, huh? She said, yeah, the air conditioner's on. So she said, just push this button right here. So last night when I was freezing because the air conditioner was on. But she said, you cannot control anything in here. The only thing you can do is turn it on or turn it off. But I said to her, thank you, but I still don't understand because I did not know the air conditioner was on. But she did push the button and turn the air conditioner off. She said, now that I pushed that button, it will get warmer in here. Oh, wow. So you mean to tell me the air conditioner was on? At some point yesterday, I felt a little cooler. And I didn't know why, but you can't really feel. like you can't hear or anything like that. So it is what it is. But I kid you not, I'm just thankful she turned off the air conditioner because I need some heat. I was freezing in here, so I was freezing because I had the air on and didn't even know it. But boys and girls, I had the lady on the line laughing. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. Because I called to turn off my house phone. Now my house phone was supposed to switch over today, and I called and it didn't switch over. But that's not the point. For a long time, I kept hearing something in my phone, and you know sometimes you could think you paranoid or whatever the hell may be. I used to be on the phone with people, and people would say, "What is that I'm listening to?" And I said, "Well, what do you hear?" Because I knew I heard it, but I thought maybe if I said something, somebody would think I'm going crazy. I hear some keyboards. I hear like somebody clicking keys, like somebody's typing. There was a few times I would have to say to someone, "I have to call you back," and I would hang up the phone, and then I would call them back. A few of y'all do know what I'm saying. So a time or two, I was able to hear somebody say hello on the other line. I was able to hear a background that sounded like a call center, all of that. And I didn't say anything a lot of the time because I figured someone would think I was crazy. For one, I have mental health illness. For two, I'm paranoid. For two, I have anxiety. So people don't tend to listen. You know, sometimes you think, this is just weird. Okay, I like being weird. But then today, I was on the phone talking to someone, and it got so bad that we both were crying because I kid you not, life has hit her so hard that she has lost just about everything. She only has one piece of hope left, but honey, you might as well chalk that up because anytime you go for EBT, you're going to have to give that up. But anyway, she said to me, for some reason, after I applied for help, I started hearing this thing in my phone, and I thought that someone else had tapped my line and stuff. So I said, ha! And I said to her, I'm not having that conversation on my phone. I'm so sorry. And then she understood the assignment. So she said, I said to her, I am so sorry, but we're going to have to go back to being pen pals. I said, I will send you a book of stamps. That's all. I said, send me your address, and that's it. And then I told her, I said, you have to be very mindful. I said, you need to do what you need to do. I said, I would never give you advice I said, I would give you advice, but you do what you want to do because the consequences and outcomes are yours. She said, I know. She said, but you were so right about this. And I said, I'm not having that conversation with you. So I already said I was going to give myself 2 days to decide if I was going to cut off my house phone. I already don't like being hooked to a cell phone. But I said, you know what? I know what I'm going to do for myself. This social media and all this other stuff is going to come to an end. But I am going to give myself 9 to 5 with my cell phone. And after that, my cell phone is going to be unplugged. A few times during the day, I'm just going to unplug my phone. But I called the phone company, and although the phone was supposed to come on today, I cut the phone off. And the woman was like, why do you want to turn off the phone? And I said to her, well, I'm trying to fix my finances, and I can't really afford so many services, and this is one of them that have to go. And then it was so nice because I did tell her, I know that you have a script. I know you have all of those bells and whistles, but this is what I want. And she said, thank you for telling me whatever. And then she still kept going, the upsell. Well, thank you, but no thank you. And it was all that. Now, the one thing they did have that was of interest was YouTube Premium for $10 a month. So I said to her, that's not going to be beneficial to me. I said, if it was someone else, it would be. And she asked me why. I said, because I have a YouTube channel. And I said, although I'm not monetized, if I was to take that service, then I would reduce ads from other people's videos that I'm watching that are also watching mine. So they won't be able to earn from me. And then just so happens that I may monetize one day and I need to earn from my ads. So she said, oh, teach me. I said, well, you don't want to have premium and reduce a YouTuber from earning because they're earning by the watched ads. So she said, oh, I understand. Absolutely. So it might have been convenient not to have the ads, but if someone is supporting me and I'm supporting them, or whether I support them or not is none of nobody's business. I am not going to avoid the ads that I know is paying them. So there goes that. You do what you want to do. I do what I want to do. So there goes that. Um, and she said, I see you've been a client or whatever for 3 days. I said, yep. And I was moaning and groaning because I was tired. But then we ended up talking about the unit because she asked me if I like living here, and I told her yeah. And then we were talking about the door, and she said, well, what happens if you get a package? I said, well, I got a package today, and I didn't know where my package was. So I had to go into the office and ask, and then they took me to this other room, this massive room with all these packages, and there goes my package on the table. So I'm like, ooh, and I said to the lady, I said, I love it here. And she looked at me and started laughing. Can you imagine you get a big package, they take your package and put it in a big room, and you have this key to just open the door and look in the room for your package? Are you seriously telling me that's not a, are you serious? I'm like, and that's, oh, Now I'm expecting a package today, and it's supposed to be a big package. So there goes that. So I'm so thankful because I already saw that they bring the packages in. Now, the small packages like Amazon or whatever, they leave in the lobby. Now, someone was down there, and I was in the front sitting down on a bench just relaxing, and I heard someone reading off names of packages. So I said, well, they don't know I'm here. Let me see if they're going to take free will and take a package. And then come to find out the package they were looking for wasn't there, and they dropped the rest of the packages back down. I said, you know what? This is it right here, boys and girls. So I am so thankful. I had my window open all day, and all I heard was an occasional fire truck. But I looked out the window. I saw about maybe 3 children, their parent, a stroller, and it looked as if they were sitting on a like part of the pavement or something. But my window was open, and although I was on the 12th floor, I was able to hear a massive amount of foolishness down on the below me. I heard nothing. No. I didn't hear a fire truck. I just lied. Absolutely not. I heard a train. So that's what I heard when I had the window open. I have no problem hearing a train. I have a problem hearing all that other stuff. You understand? So I am so freaking thankful. But I'm it's like 6 o'clock, and Miranda's curfew is coming up 7 p.m. and I don't see her in the house right now. But I have made a decision. I'm going to give Charisma Miranda without giving her Miranda. There goes that. Because she never liked Miranda. Now when she walks out the door, Miranda's on her shoulder. She actually feels whatever it is, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let her take until she finds herself in there with a crib, the bassinet, and all these other things. Because when I tell you, Miranda is a beautiful support. The weight of her being real to a weight is so. She said people felt her and was like, oh, I can't believe she's so heavy. So I can't afford to buy my daughter a doll. And I also thought about something else. Miranda did what she did for me. She held me down when I needed her to hold me down. Now she can hold down Kay. You understand? So I'm gonna let her do what she has to do. So that's it. I told her, girl, you better not leave Miranda in that front seat of that car and roll that window up. Absolutely not. She was outside my old building, and nobody knew Miranda was a doll baby. They were holding the door for her and everything. And they said, oh, I want to see the baby. And they looked at Miranda and did not know Miranda was a doll. My daughter said she went to the Dollar Tree, and it was just so much fun for her. But I cannot tell you how much I have heard her laugh. After all we've been through, just to hear her laugh that she got from her mom. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. But, oh, wait. Oh, now I know my daughter would get mad if I said this because she swears up I tell too much information, but I have to tell you this. There was a man in a laundromat. I say laundromat, but the laundry room is right across the hall. There was a man in the laundry room, and my daughter said to him, what she say? Good morning or something like that. And I was there, so I do know what she said. And then he said, um, no Espanol or something like that. And when he said that, I already knew what was coming, so I couldn't partake in it. So I just walked out the door. So she walked over to him, and then I heard all this in Spanish. So I left out of the room because I wouldn't be able to tell what they were talking about. But she said he left the laundry room because he didn't have enough money on his card. And she said she came to get me because she was going to let him use my card. So when she went back in the room, she said, he's gone. She said he didn't have enough money on his laundry card. And I'm sitting here looking at her, and I'm just so freaking happy that I was able to get to hear her talking to him. But if he would have just stayed there just like 2 more seconds, he would have at least had a load of laundry. But I kid you not, I know how hard it is right now, and I know how hard it is for me. And to hear her communicate with him, all I could do is just leave because I was when my daughter was younger, my daughter had to learn. You understand me? I didn't want her outside a lot. I had issues where I was overprotective, but on my TV was Dora, hooked on phonics, hooked on math, learning, math, everything. Now, I have a learning disability, so I can't remember. And she understands now that my memory is going because she could see some things. She said, memory issue. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, because now she see. Because I hate the fact that I repeat myself, but then I have to tell people I don't even want to talk anymore because I may repeat myself. So it was nice to see that she was able to have a conversation with him. Before I came here a while ago, there was a woman that was in my house, and the lady was on the couch, and she was sitting down talking French, and she was going through a struggle, and I couldn't help her. So it was nothing I could do. But my daughter went in there and sat down. She said, "Da da 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 da," and the lady said, "Da da," and they was going back and forth. But today, a friend of mine called me, and she was crying and crying and crying and crying, and I kid you not, all I could do was sit on the phone and cry. And she's crying because all she can say to me is, "You were right." And I said to her, "What was I right about?" And she said, "You just have to believe." And for her to say, she understands now. She said, "You just have to believe. You have to have faith. You have to trust." And I told her, I said, "That is it." I said, "I don't care who it is you have faith in. I don't care." But what hit her was when she had to face being loyal to herself. And that included walking away from a man. I told her, I said, men have something that we women don't have. So I don't care which way you say it. It is good. That's it. But if it's not good in the whole entire unit, it's not good for you. So to be with somebody because they have this special feature and they can make you feel like this, at the end of the day, that's not going to pay your bills. So I told her, I said, "Honey, you have to be loyal to yourself. Lock the shop down." I have a friend. You already see my friend, Lamont. You already see my friend. And it is so funny because Lamont and I act the same in a lot of ways. If you see us together outside, we both act the same way. But he absolutely had to get to the point where he had to lock shop down, and he had to realize, you can't eat, doing this. So now when I hear him speak about the person that he's with, it's beautiful because The person that he's with now is not the person he would ever be with. Why? Because of whatever dynamics. But the fact is that that man makes sure that he is provided for, even if it's only $2. He makes sure that meat's on the table or whatever the case may be. They both were homeless. Matter of fact, one is still in that situation. But when I say how thankful I am to hear someone say you were right, and I'm not trying to be right. I tell everybody I am not anybody better than no one, but you have to love yourself. And loving yourself comes between you saying, okay, I'm going to give somebody access and I'm going to lock a shop down, because I kid you not, boys and girls, I am thankful beyond words. Today I was rolling through my phone, and you know what I did? I said delete, and deleted the phone number. And then I had a person call me and ask me, do I have a home number? And I said, you know what? I was going to give it 2 days to make a determination, but then, you know, I said, I don't need a home phone number. And then I got another call. Someone wants to know how they can come up and see me. And I made it point blank clear. I am more than blessed and thankful that people want to visit me, but I don't want anybody visiting me. That's it. How I got here and how I struggled to get here, those are the people that can come visit me. Other than that, don't even bother, because you didn't bother to none of that. It is about me being happy, loving myself, because I'm not giving access to anybody who watched me struggle. And that's it. And the reason why I feel that way, boys and girls, because I still feel like something's coming my way. When I was talking to the lady on the phone, she said, if you have an EBT card, Medicaid or whatever, we were talking back and forth, and she said, you get this link, and she gave me the link, and I went to the link and everything, and I saw the discount, and I said, you know what, I don't want that. So she said, you don't want the discount? I said, no, I'd rather not. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'll just pay the extra. So she said, but may I ask why? And I said to her, I said, you know, I may sound like a weirdo, but I want to be a taxpayer. I said, I just did my taxes a few weeks ago. I said, I felt extremely happy being a part of that community. I said, now I am grateful for everything that I have. I said, my main priority right now is food on the table and shelter over my head. I said, but I don't have to take everything that's free. I said, because that makes me a person that I don't want to be. But I kid you not, I am going to have to go to Mercy Room, because what I'm feeling right now is horrible. I cannot even believe that I'm not screaming right now. It is not funny what my body's going through. But, and she said, interesting. Absolutely interesting. Are you serious? You know how many people need? Let someone else take that little discount on the phone. I have it now. I cancel my electricity, so I don't have my electricity bill. And then on top of that, when she took the phone, she put the Wi-Fi down to $70. I can knock off $70. If I can't pay $70, I don't need a damn phone. That's just the bottom line. So then she was like, well, what are you going to be doing with the phone? I said, I don't want the lowest. I don't want the highest. I need the middle. That's what I need, because whatever I need to be done, it's going to be done. But all them other bells and whistles, I don't have time for that. Because let me tell you something. If you don't think you're going to pay back that money, you are sadly mistaken, honey. So you better treat it like a loan and be prepared to give the government back theirs, honey, because all you need is one scratch card, one lottery hit, one real big come up, and you're going to pay that back. And I said, I have every intention. If I make it and they want theirs, I'm more than happy to give it to you. You know why? Because when I needed you to cushion my fall, you cushioned my fall. There goes that. But I kid you not, I am so, whoo, boys and girls, I told my friend, I'm not the type of person that would throw salt in someone's wound. And I do have someone who throws salt in your wound. And you know what I do now? I don't say anything. I just let it be. You want to know why? Because I do know that some people just can't be happy unless they throw the dirt at you. So what you have to do is learn that that's not the person that you need to be telling them the really good stuff to. So there goes that. But why is my arm? is my arm. Good Lord have mercy. Ow. My arm feel like it's numb, like it's going to sleep, and I'm moving it, so it shouldn't be feeling like that. Oh my goodness. Mm. Honey, I went on that computer today and I started searching. I'm like, I need a gas station with less than $5 a gallon close to my address. But I kid you not, mm, it took us a while to get here last night. My daughter jumped on that parkway and pushed that car to 80. And I said, you know what? She could see my face. She could see me starting to cry. And she was like, Mommy, it's okay. You're going to be okay. Mm-mm. And I told her, I said, you know what? I think you need to just face the facts that you proved to me that you want to do what you want to do. So I'm going to make my own way home. I said, I'm just going to let you go where you go. I'm going to make my own way home, and I'm just going to stay by myself. She said, but I want you to get to Grandma in time. I said, mm-mm. It is not about getting to her in time. It's about getting to her in one piece. And I just said, you have a really strange way of seeing things. I said, but you want to push 80 on the parkway like everybody on the road does not matter. I said, it's okay. I'm not going to say nothing. I said, just get where you're going, and I'll see you later. I said, I'm going to find my own way home. And she said, but I just didn't want you to be late. No, no, no. See, that's not the right way to think about it. I said, I prepare myself in the AM hours, no matter what time it is that I get dressed. This morning, I was in the tub at 2 something this morning, just getting that wash up. I said, you like to get prepared about an hour before you know you have to be somewhere, and it takes you more than an hour, and then you're late. See, that's the stuff I can't deal with. I'd rather wait 30 minutes for somebody before somebody may wait 30 minutes for me. But I kid you not, after I fell on that ground last night, she just cried and cried and cried. And I cannot tell a lie. I couldn't do nothing but hold her until I was okay. I know I was not okay. My body is still screaming. The back of my shoulder, from here in the back all the way up here, is as if it feels as if the bone is shifted. That's from me falling out so many times. And now from here to here feels like it's almost numb, like the feeling is going away. I have been using it. I've been moving it, so that's not the issue. I do want to go to the emergency room. I just don't want to see her in the emergency room with me. So I'm trying to get her back on her routine, being away from me. But she said, Mommy, I'm getting on that bus. That bus is only 2 hours, and so I'm getting on that bus. I'm coming to make sure you're okay. But my friend that was crying, I tell you no lie, it's hard for her. Why? Because her daughter is doing everything now to take care of her. Her health has declined. She had to apply for disability and everything. And she's like, I never wanted to be like this. And I told her, I said, honey, you just have to accept it. This is the life that you have right now. And she said, well, why did it have to happen? I said, you just have to accept it, and that is it. I said, but I'm not sitting on this phone going through all that foolishness with you. I said, that's just the bottom line. I said, you can't do anything about it. You have to take care of yourself. I said, all you have to do now is remember that your daughter is doing what she's choosing to do because you raised her to be responsible. Now, you don't want to beg her. You don't want to do all that other stuff, and I get it. I said, because I'm going through the same thing myself. And she said, I just was so hard on her. I just wanted her to be productive, and I understand it all. I said, that's my goddaughter. You're my best friend. I said, but to be truthful, you're not my best friend. You're my sister. We knew each other from young. I said, and your mother absolutely adored me, But one of the reasons why she was crying is because before her mother passed away, her mother wanted to speak to me, and I hadn't spoke to her mother for a couple of years, although we lived in the same town. And then she told me, thank you for being my daughter's only real friend, because I never put her daughter in harm's way. And I have been telling my daughter forever, a friend would not put you in harm's way. That's it. You don't need to know anything else. I said, so those friends that want to go see you lay up in the club and puff, drag, and all that, knowing that you don't have enough to do this, and this, those are not your friends, because while you over there spending up this and doing all that and having a good time, later on somebody else got to help you pay what you should have been able to pay on yourself, especially if you had it. So now, she's gonna be attached to my hip. Why? She understands. She said to me yesterday. She said, "Mommy, you want to do a video?" No, she want to be in the video. Yeah, but you know what? She has her own videos and all that other stuff. But I told her there's a certain dynamic that I'm just not going to partake in. And I am so thankful that I have enough willpower to say, I need money, but I don't want it that bad. You know, many moons ago, lots of people had to do things they didn't want to do. I had a man in my house one day sitting at my dining table, and he just broke down and cried. Why? He said he knew what his mother had to do to put food on the table. And I couldn't say nothing to him because the only thing I could do was ask, but that wasn't none of my business. I could only assume because there's a job a woman has that would never go out of style. But he cried because he knew what his mother had to do to put food on the table. And that's why I told my daughter, I don't want any grandchildren if they're going to be on EBT. I said, you can say whatever you want to say about me. I love my daughter and I would love all my grandchildren, but I don't want them to come in this world intentionally on EBT and all those type of things. I said, that is not going to make someone feel good. And I said, when children grow up, their biggest fan is normally their mom and dad, especially if you have access to one or the other or both. But you don't want your children to be born into a struggle. So that's why I say what I say. Now, if the Lord bless her and she have a child, that's okay. My daughter wants to work. She wants to get out there. She wants this. She wants this. Guess what? I told her yesterday, honey, you go out there and get that world, baby. You get all that paper. I want you to remember to do the right thing. Don't cut those corners. Don't be a follower. None of that. Because at the end of the day, karma misses nobody's address. Absolutely. Hell no. Boys and girls. Woo. But, I'm just looking at the background. Beverly, you said you couldn't hear me. It was 2 something in the morning and I was going to keep my voice down because people would sleep. I know I have never heard anyone on that wall over there. I know that in this living room nobody can hear me, and I really know you can't hear me unless you are in this hallway. But I can't be in here scandalous. When my daughter make me laugh, I run over that bed, drop on that bed, and put my head in the pillow. Boys and girls. Oh my goodness. That girl is funny. I told her, so you're not going to be able to come to my house if you behaving like that. Because you know they don't welcome that. Yeah. But I met about 3 of my neighbors today, and it was so freaking nice. Coral, I can't wait till you and I have a little chat, because you and I understand. But I kid you not, I was downstairs in the lobby, and we were both over there by the package room, and I'm just looking at her pretty, like auburn, reddish type hair, and I'm sitting here, I'm loving, you understand me? I'm loving this whole experience. But I kid you not, I don't know what's down the block. I actually wanted to take a walk with my cell phone, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to do that right now. I went outside yesterday and we heard something. And my daughter said, Mommy, is that a coyote? I said, that sounds like a bear. And then I chat GBT, are there bears? And it said, yes, there are. I'm like, I said, close the window, lock the door. And all I could think about was Miss Judy down south, because she put a picture up one time of a kangaroo behind her house with a little baby in the patch. And then someone else online put a picture of a bear that was sitting on a part of their property, but not the top, but like underneath where they were trying to get in to get some food. Honey, if I knew I was living close to that, I don't know if I would have went somewhere. I don't know, but my daughter was driving and she said, Mommy, look at the deer. And I'm like, oh, boy, don't hit the deer. She said, no, somebody else already hit it. I'm like, oh, I kid you not, I do not want to drive here. Now maybe if I was going up the road to Walmart or something like that, I don't want to drive here. No, I already registered for this medical service where you pay $6 and they take you where you need to go. I don't know where the paperwork is, but I have access to that, and I will be paying my little $6. Yeah, can you take me here? I'll be downstairs. Yes, I will. I do not want to drive here. Absolutely not. So, nope, I'm not doing it. But I kid you not, boys and girls, I am extremely happy. Today, I wanted to make some coffee, but then I called my daughter to go to the store and get some coffee filters. When I called her, she said, "Mommy, I'm watching Tubi," and I'm like, "Oh, all right." Now I have something I need help putting together in that room, so I said, "You know what? I'm leaving it just like that because I pulled everything out the room, so I could I pulled everything out the room so I could put the rug down. So the rug is completely down on the floor. I put the rug underneath the table so I can put my my computer chair there. But I said, I can't, my fingers can't do it because my hands are hurting. I said, I don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is put some more pain cream on my shoulders so I can move the boxes just a little bit somewhere else. But I'm so freaking happy because the printer can now come off the table when that's up, and then I'll be able to start putting my beads and stuff together. But I need another table. Why? Because the table is not like underneath it. There's like a bar, and I keep hitting my sore knee on that bar. So I said, I need another table. But I don't want to put myself in a situation to where I need while I'm trying to, solve. So I said I have this cabinet that came, then I have another stand that's coming, then I have a lamp that I cannot wait to show y'all. I saw the lamp in the catalog. I said, I have to get it because a friend of mine wants a lamp that I currently have, and unfortunately, he put it on the truck when it wasn't supposed to be in the truck. It was supposed to be on his property, so he left it. So, and then I have something else. I don't know, table, no shelf, no. I don't know. I'm not even worried about it. But I'm so thankful that my daughter is home having a good time. But I told her today, I said, baby, you have to go home. And she said, I know, Mommy. I said, you have to go home, honey. I said, because I can't let you put me in problems because you're trying to help me. I said, I can't help you by you hurting yourself. So she's home. I hope she puts Susie in the parking garage somewhere. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Boys and girls, I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling like I'm finally able to put my little meals together. Nothing spectacular, just, some nourishment. But I want to cook some more chicken just to make sure that I have something for when I'm not able to cook, because I kid you not, when someone asked me yesterday, how are you not screaming with all you've been dealing with? And I said, because I know I can't do anything about it. But I kid you not, I'm sitting here now, and I actually know the tears are going to fall after I get off the phone, because they're falling out of my eyes right now. I knew I was going to be in pain. I just didn't know I would be in this kind of pain. But when you don't have this kind of pain for so long, and it comes back, it's really hard to deal with. But I do know one thing without a shadow of a doubt. All they're going to do is give me a pain medicine prescription. And my friend just sat on his phone today crying. She just got to the hospital. She did 14 days. And what pain medicine has done to her, you will not give me any pain medicine, honey. You could chop off one of my arms. I'm not taking no pain medicine. And I don't care. I found my migraine, my Excedrin migraine, and I had a migraine, and I wouldn't take that either. I wouldn't take that either. But I kid you not, at least 3 people I know of just went through a hell of a lot due to pain medicine. And I had to tell somebody just recently, I said, ask your doctor why they would prescribe you that if they knew it could cause you this. And just wait for the answer. That's it. And I told her, I know how bad you feel because you're in the medical field. I said, but a cured patient is a lost paycheck. I said, so you need to remember that. I said, because what you're dealing with now, you shouldn't have to deal with because you should have already known that. Then I got a call from someone else who went to the doctor. And I can't remember what his situation was, but it was a health issue that 9 times out of 10, they would have just been, supplying him prescriptions. And he asked the person, the doctor, why would you offer me that instead of telling me I could take this? Now, what he was asking about why he could take, if I'm not mistaken, it was a herbal. And the doctor said, well, what is that? And that was that. So he understood the assignment right there. You go to medical school and they teach you how to write prescriptions and this type of stuff, but they don't teach you about herbals. But I did have a doctor ask me as much as I could give him information on the herbals that I know of, and I'm talking about for mental health. So I was thankful for that. And when I say very interested, very interested. And I cannot believe the amount of people that told me how proud they are of me. But there is nobody more prouder than me than myself, because I know I've accepted the fact that I have bipolar disorder. And yeah, I do. Absolutely know I do, because when I'm in here by myself, I know what I suffer with. When this camera turns on, I do the best I can not to put all that. That was painful. Boys and girls, I keep getting this shocking pain in my chest. Dang, man. Oh, wow. Ooh. Mm. I think my body is just because I'm holding in my tears. That's all. I told my friend today on the phone, I said, girl, cry if you have to cry. She said, I just keep crying. I said, cry, baby. I said, crying has some type of healing when it comes to pain. Just cry. Just cry if you have to cry. And I said, you need to call me back. Call me back. I said, I'm here by myself. Just call me back. That pain is shocking. Now, the pain that I just had, if I go to the emergency room, I'm going to be in the hospital for 2 hours just for that pain. Just for that pain. And then they're going to say that they can't find anything and they're going to send me home. The discharge is about 40 minutes and whatever it is, what it is. But I've never been to the emergency room here, so I get to experience that. But I think I am going to the emergency room. I don't know if something is shifted back here, but it's horrible. But I landed on my elbows, so they're burning and the pain. But it is okay. I may just put some pain cream on it and see how it feels. I put pain cream on my feet, so I was able to stand up at the stove a little while. But you know what it is? It is what it is. I want to go to the health center, which is somewhere up the block. I want to go there and register. I can't find my registration for my car. I'm kind of on the sad side because I just re-registered my car, so I know I have it somewhere. I looked where it should be. It's not there. I don't know. But Let me tell you something. Let me see. Wait, let me turn around first of all, because y'all know I love my friends. Let me turn around. Let me show you something. I don't know if you're gonna see anything, because I never did try to look in the back of my head, but I could feel it. Like right here is some hair, and like right here is not. But anyway, I I've been trying to find my razor, my clipper. It was packed, but clearly it's broken because it only turns on for a few minutes, and then I could only get that. And then it's been charging for like a day, so it should be fully charged, but I only get like, and then so I get the best I can, and then it dies, and I put it back on the charger, and then it doesn't come back on. Then I put it on the charger again, and it give me, so I get over there. But guess what? I went outside today. I went downstairs like this, and I don't care. I don't care. I am who I am. That's it. So one man was getting in the elevator. He was looking, and he was in a wheelchair. So I said, "Come on in, let him in the elevator." But I'm wondering if I look a certain a certain type of way because my head looked like this. But guess why I'm actually happy? Because I can't see it from the front. Now I may be able to see it over here if I turn around, but I'm actually looking for it. But someone else in the line of Walmart or something, they would be like, "Oh, you see?" They probably take a camera and video me and all kind of stuff. But I said, you know what? I can't do anything about it. I need a clipper. So I said, it is what it is. I found it. So it's on the charge now, and I see the light on it, but it's not holding a charge. Mm-mm. It's not holding the charge. Mm. Mm-mm. Mm. Honey, this chicken is delicious. Mm-mm. Mm. 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 Woo. Mm. Mm. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. But there's nothing in this world. Oh, let me see if y'all can see something now. It look a little darker, and it's getting brighter in here because it's getting darker outside. But I wanna see if y'all can see something. But let me take in my plate first. Mm, 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 My friend said to me, "Do you have a bodega by your house?" I said, "No." Mm-mm. I said, "Nope." Mm-mm. She said, "No, nope." Mm-mm. And I kid you not, I don't know what my caseworker knew that I wanted, but she got all the bells and whistles right because I did not want a bodega anywhere near the walking entrance of my damn home. Absolutely. Now let's see what y'all can see from here. Mm-mm-mm. Let me see if y'all can see this. You still can't see. I'm trying to get you to see above the window. But, oh, maybe I should turn this on. Hold on. Ooh. All right. Let's see what you can see. No, you really can't see. Okay. Dang. I'm going to have to wait till tonight. I tell you, you really can't see here. Let me put this over here. I can't really see. Nope. I can't see. There it go. There it go. I got it. Okay, let's come over here now. I want you to look above the window, but I can't see what I want you to see. I can see it a little bit. Let me put it right here. Nope, not there. Okay, I might have to show it later. Oh, okay, I almost had it. My big head is in it. Let's find a different way for you to see it. Let's see if I can get it over here. Nope. Okay, I don't know. I'm looking and all I see is blackness. I need to know if you can see the colors, the orange, the white, the pink, the yellow, the beige, the purple. I need to know, can you see the actual colors? I can't see the colors, but it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I had it a few minutes ago. Let me see. Ah, all right. You can see a little better now. Let's come over here real quick, boys and girls. I want you to see so bad. It is so beautiful. You can't see from here, but I need to put it down for a minute. Okay, you can't see it from here. Now you can see it. You can see some orange. You can see some yellow. Oh. Now you can see some of the white. Let me get it right there. I don't know. I can't. So, okay, I can't hold this thing like this. Oh, let me see. No, you still can't see it. Okay, we're gonna stop fighting. We're gonna stop fighting. We're gonna stop fighting. I'm gonna. Oh my goodness! There we go. Okay, you can see a little bit now. Let me move it over just a little bit. Okay. No. Let me move it over here. You can see a little bit more now. Oh my goodness, I wish you could see it from where I see it. If you walk in the front door, all you notice is this beautiful garden type thing that my daughter did. But you can see it. You can see it. I just want you to see it from where I can see it, which means you need to be facing it instead of looking at it this way. But you can see it. What I'm going to do now is try what I'm not understanding. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. You can see a little bit now. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I don't know if you can see. No, you can't see it. All right, let's stop playing in the sandbox. Bye-bye.